In our current age, the world is literally at our fingertips. We are now able to communicate with people from the most remote corners of the earth from the comfort of our couch. Yet, looking back in time as recent as 100 years ago, explorers still sought to completely map out the earth in a time before satellites and GPS, risking their lives for the prospect of fame and honor. Some came back as heroes, others never returned. Today, I want to tell you about 5 explorers of the modern age who set out for the adventure of their lives and lost theirs in the process. Number 5. Percy Fawcett. This is one of the more famous explorers on the list, having received the 2016 biopic The Lost City of Z, which took a couple creative liberties with Percy's biography. The real Percy Fawcett was a distinguished British colonel turned explorer who ventured into the Amazon several times during the 1920s in search of the mythical El Dorado, a lost city rich in gold which he dubbed the Lost City of Z. In 1925, with his son and his son's best friend, he went to look for this city in the Mato Grosso region of Brazil. By May 29th, he sent forth one of his native guides with a letter to his wife saying, "You need have no fear of any failure." Coincidentally, this letter was Percy's last sign of life, and after 2 years without any signs from Percy, the Royal Society of Geographers sent out the first wave of rescue parties. In fact, over the last 90 years, some 13 expeditions have perished and over 100 people have died or disappeared in the search of Percy Fawcett. Yet, not a single trace of him has been found. There are many hypotheses about what happened to Percy. Some speculate that he joined a native tribe and had gone native, whilst others claim that he was most likely eaten by a jaguar. The most recent theory comes from David Gran, a journalist who studied Percy's route in 2005 and came in contact with the Kalapalo Indians, who had an oral history, indicating that Percy might have met them and ignored their advice not to venture into the territory of a hostile tribe, where he was most likely killed. But still, as of now, we really don't know what happened to Percy Fawcett. And if you think this is puzzling enough already, then consider the story of Peng Jiamu on number 4. Peng, a Chinese biologist, is the most recent entry on this list. In China, he was known for his numerous scientific expeditions since the 1950s, some of them leading to northwestern China's Lop Desert, one of the driest places on Earth. Peng was in no way inexperienced on this terrain, yet on his 1980 expedition, something went terribly wrong. He led a research team of archaeologists, biologists, and geologists on a scientific expedition to the Lop Desert, but several days into the journey, he suddenly vanished from the camp, leaving nothing but a note saying he was going out to find water. The only scenarios that would explain Peng getting lost would be an unlikely freak sandstorm, or even more unlikely, Peng being crushed by an avalanche of loose sand. Whatever the cause may have been, the Chinese government instantly launched a massive but unsuccessful search of the desert. As many as 6 skeletons have been recovered from the desert's dry lake Lop Nur since 1980, a testament to the desert's perils. Yet, none of the skeletons identified have been proven to be Peng. This means his remains could still be out there, somewhere. At least we roughly know the area where Peng just vanished. The same cannot be said about the Spanish sailor Francisco de Hoces on number 3. In general, astonishingly little can be said about Francisco de Hoces, as he's more famous for the people he was surrounded by. What we know is that in 1525, he joined Jorge de Loaiza's expedition around the southern tip of South America and across the Pacific. The expedition was off to a bad start already, as the sailors didn't know how far south Tierra del Fuego, the southern tip of South America, extended. During the expedition, Francisco was the commander of a ship called San Lesme that was separated from the rest of the fleet twice by gales. The second time, however, he couldn't rejoin the fleet, and what happened to his ship afterwards is subject to intense speculation. The most outlandish hypothesis, brought forward by the writer Robert Langdon, says that Francisco and his crew landed somewhere on a Pacific island and possibly assimilated into their culture. In other words, they had gone native. However, this would be a topic for another video, especially since historians do not consider Robert Langdon's theory to be viable. What remains undisputed is that South America was the final stop for many explorers, including British explorer George Bess on number 2. Originally not even an explorer, but a physician, he joined many expeditions to Australia as a ship doctor in the 1790s, during which George also worked as a cartographer. Even though he garnered a little prestige from his accomplishments, seeing the immense wealth that the traders in Australia raked in from the import business, George tried himself as a businessman for a short time. By the time he joined the game, however, the market was already oversaturated with British goods. So instead, he set sail to bring his precious cargo to South America in 1803, and that's the last time anyone's ever heard of George, and in fact, the whole ship. He could have arrived in South America and been taken as a slave by the Spaniards, but such an occurrence would certainly be documented somewhere. Such evidence remains yet to be discovered. Whatever happened to the ship remains an enigma. Yet, there is one more case even more mysterious that occurred half a century after George Bess's disappearance. I'm talking about the case of Ludwig Leichhardt on number 1, which takes us back to Australia again. In 1848, the German scientist and explorer Ludwig Leichhardt, along with 7 companions, attempted to cross the entirety of Australia from east to west. Ludwig was certainly not unaccustomed to the different terrains of Australia. In fact, he was even presumed dead for 18 months during an early expedition across eastern Australia until he finally reached his destination, after which he was lauded as a national hero. So what went wrong during the 1848 expedition? Well, no one really knows. We have tons of evidence scattered all over the Australian desert, yet there is still no accepted theory about the cause of his disappearance. An 1852 search party, as well as subsequent search parties, have found numerous disparate trees that had the letter L carved into them, something that Ludwig was known to do to mark his path. Furthermore, in 1900, on the northern fringe of the Great Sandy Desert in Western Australia, a burnt shotgun and a plaque that was attached to it, proving it to be Ludwig's shotgun, was found. Yet, it remains the only item that was ever found of Ludwig's expedition. Who knows? Maybe he's still out there, hidden in the sand, waiting to be discovered. Well, that ending was pretty dark. For more lighter videos and top 5 lists, feel free to explore the other videos on my channel Mindbending. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this, and of course, don't forget to comment if you guys have any video recommendations. That's it from me though, I'm signing out for now. See you on my next video.